Go ahead and find your block or a rolled up towel or something for your supported back bend. The way I like to begin, great opportunity to just begin to wake up those muscles between the shoulder blades and start to passively lengthen and stretch the muscles across the chest. Just a reminder to you, if this is ever uncomfortable for you, you can skip this part and just lie down on your back. Additionally, you could just find a seated beginning position if you don't love beginning on your back. And so Dusty, you can have this if you want it. All right, so we're going to begin with a shared breath practice. And so go ahead and start by exhaling all the air out of the lungs through the nose or mouth. Just blow it all out. And then inhale through the nose, breathe into the belly. Open mouth, exhale, blow it all out. Inhale through the nose, breathe into the belly. Open mouth, exhale, blow it all out. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to count us out. I would like to cultivate a breath practice where we're focusing more on the exhale than the inhale here at the beginning. And so what we're going to do is we're going to inhale for a 3 count and exhale for a 5 count. And I may extend that as we go through a few rounds of breath, but we'll start out with a 3 count and a 5 count. So 5 rounds of breath. All right, so start by exhaling. So just blow it all out, create some space. And then inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 3, 2, 1. Out, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 3, 2, 1. Out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 3, 2, 1. Out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In for 4, 3, 2, 1. Out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And keep this going on your own pace. And if you want to extend the exhale, extend the breath even more, maybe a 5-7, maybe even up to a 6-8, give that a try and kind of explore that. I think I've talked about this before, but lengthening the breath, particularly the exhale, is connected with slowing down the heart rate and implementing that parasympathetic nervous system. So if you think about your heart and your metabolism and all the systems of your body as being regulated like a car, then the parasympathetic or the sympathetic nervous system is the one that energizes you, right? And so if you think about that being the gas, and this parasympathetic nervous system is what de-energizes you or decelerates. So you think about that as being the brake. And so these are actually working in tandem with each other. The sympathetic nervous system is what causes your heart to speed up. And as you inhale, that stimulates the sympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system is what causes your heart rate to slow down. And that's stimulated by the exhale. So if you think about every round of breath, you're actually hitting the gas on the inhale and the brake on the exhale. So we're stimulating on the inhale and decelerating on the exhale. And so when you think about it that way, the exhale is where we slow down. The exhale is where we find rest. It's where all those feel-good hormones, all those the sleep hormones are being released. And so when you think about it, it's also why we sigh. That both we sigh, which is basically a long exhale, we sigh when we want to calm down, or we also sigh when something has occurred that was emotionally stressful and it's over. And so we sigh as a big sigh of relief. And so when you think about that, that long exhale or the sigh is your body's way of cleansing, your body's way of releasing maybe some of that tension. And by stimulating, it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's the sort of thing that you do instinctively. Nobody had to teach you how to breathe a sigh of relief. And so when you are practicing your breath practice and you are intentionally lengthening the exhale, you're using that beautiful design of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system to your advantage. So if you want to slow down, if you want to decrease the stress and anxiety hormones that are coursing through your body, focus on the exhale. All right, so let's take it through a few more slow rounds of breath here, paying particular attention to the exhale. All right, so now what I want you to do is on the next inhale, reach the arms overhead toward the back, point the toes toward the front, take a deep breath and a full body stretch from fingers to toes. And on the exhale, hug the knees to the chest, rounding the spine. So we're not gonna go with our breath flow here on our backs. We're just going to start to roll up and down the length of the spine. And if that's uncomfortable for you, we're gonna come up to a seated position. So you could even just go there and skip the part where you roll up and down. So after a few rock and rolls, go ahead and bring it up to a seated position. Cross your legs if that's comfortable for you. And if you have your block, you could even have a seat on your block too. That elevates the hips, it takes a little bit of the stress off the hip flexors here. All right, so we're gonna start with some side bending here. Inhale, arms overhead. And on the exhale, plant the left hand alongside the left hip and reach up and over. Maybe shift your gaze toward the sky. Just keep the shoulders in line so we're not twisting toward the earth. We're side bending. Inhale back to center. Exhale up and over other side, over to the right side. Inhale back to center. Exhale up and over to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale up and over to the right. And as you're starting to open this up, go ahead and inhale back to center. As you're starting to open up, you might lower down onto your forearm. Exhale up and over to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale up and over to the right. Inhale back to center. One more time each side. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now inhale, bring it back to center and release the hands down onto your knees. And we're just going to do some seated cat-cow here. So same concept as when we're in tabletop. On the inhale, draw the sternum forward, gaze goes up. And on the exhale, round the spine, sink the forehead toward the tailbone. Inhale, draw the sternum forward for a little back bend, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, round the spine, release that space between the shoulder blades toward the back of the room. Inhale, bring it forward and take it away at your own breath on your own time. All right, come on back to center. Now what I want you to do is just take some organic movement. So we did some forward backward movement in this forward plane, and then we did some side to side. So now I want you to think about your rib cage as just being loosey goosey, and you can take it in any direction that you want. So maybe you draw some big circles, maybe you take some figure eights. So just kind of explore full range of motion here with the spine. And if there's a place If there's a shape that you take that just feels really nice, you can kind of stay and explore there for a little bit. You don't have to follow any sort of regular pattern or anything like that. Just some organic movements here. Make sure you also incorporate the neck. A lot of times when we think about the spine, we think about only the parts of our spine that are between our shoulders and our hips, but our neck is a critical part of the spine. It rotates in all the same planes of movement and needs just as much love, just as much warming up. It's just as important to everything that we do. Those of you who have ever had a neck injury can attest to that, that it affects everything that we do and we take it for granted. Okay, so any way that's comfortable for you, come around to tabletop now. And we're gonna get right into the side body here. So what I want you to do first is pick up the right leg and straighten it up, kick the right hip on top of left. And so we're going into kind of a modified side plank is the idea here. So have your left knee directly beneath your left hip and your right fingertips reaching toward the sky. So your right leg is straight. Hopefully you can see me even though we're in, I'm kind of at an angle to you. But if you glance down at your feet, your right foot, your left knee, and your left hand are all going to be in one line. So all in one plane here. So on the inhale, bring the shoulders up over the hips. Exhale, nice long side stretch, gaze goes up. Inhale, shoulders over hips. Fire up the core. Exhale, lower to the earth with control. Inhale, shoulders over hips. Exhale, gaze goes up. Inhale, shoulders over hips. And exhale, lower the left hand to the earth. One more time all the way through. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. All right, stay for the inhale. And then on the exhale, circle it down to tabletop. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So kick the left leg straight, stack the left hip on top of right, left fingertips up toward the sky. And so the idea here, again, is that your right knee is directly beneath the right hip. And this is a great modification for a side plank. We're going to be doing some side planks later on. You can really see Dusty's doing it. And so he's got his right knee directly beneath his right hip here. So it's supporting the bulk of his body weight. Dusty, for a moment, would you just kick into a high plank just to straighten out the right leg? So that's the idea behind a high side plank here. Go ahead and bring your knee back down. Having your knee beneath your hip is a really great modification for a side plank. So remember that, stick a pin in that. We might be doing more of that later. Inhale, bring the shoulders up over hips. Exhale for a nice long side stretch, gaze goes up. Inhale, shoulders over hips. Exhale, plant the right hand. Inhale, shoulders over hips. Exhale, nice long side stretch. Inhale, shoulders over hips. And exhale, plant the right hand. Stay for the inhale, and on the exhale, take it back to tabletop. All right, so curl the toes under, shift some body weight back onto the balls of the feet. And while we're here, just glance down at the hands, spread the fingers nice and wide, straighten up the elbows, take an inhale. And on the exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Pedal the feet right, left, press first one heel, then the other into the earth. All right, so we're going to build a little bit of heat here by, somebody chat me. Oh, no, we're good. All right, so we're going to build a little bit of heat here from downward facing dog. So what I want you to do first is on the inhale, I want you to lower the knees until they're an inch off the earth, all right? So they're hovering. Exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lower the knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lower the knees, hover. Exhale, downward facing dog. Keep really active in the shoulders, the upper back. Inhale, lower to hover. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now glance up at the hands, walk the feet forward to the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms overhead. And exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Okay, so we're going to do some side bends here, standing at the top of the mat. Inhale, arms overhead. And on the exhale, plant the right or left hand on the left hip, reach up and over to the left side. So a nice long side stretch down the whole right side of the body. This time you can get the hip into it. So slide the right hip into a counterbalance. Inhale back to center. Exhale up and over to the right side. Inhale back to center. Exhale up and over to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale up and over to the right. Inhale back to center. And exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step it back to plank for a moment. Okay, so something I want to talk about real quickly in plank is that when you're in plank with the shoulders over the wrist, I want you to really lift from that space between the shoulder blades. And so no hunching down into the shoulders. I want you to think about that space between the shoulder blades as drawing up toward the sky. So we're really active all the way up to the seat of the shoulders. All right, so take an inhale. And on the exhale, lower all the way to the earth. Chest touches, tops of the feet touch. Inhale, cobra, gaze goes forward, neck is long. Exhale, chin back down. We're going to take 2 more cobras. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more, inhale. And on the exhale, take it back to child's pose. So step the knees nice and wide, settle the feet, the big toes towards each other. And as you reach the arms forward, settle the forehead down onto the mat. And here in child's pose, just for a moment, take a quick inventory of all the places in your body where you're touching the earth. So the tops of the feet, the shins, the knees, the elbows, the palms, the forehead. And just for a moment, we're going to take a couple side stretches here in child's pose. And so with the arms reaching forward, walk the hands over to the right edge of the mat and maybe park the left hand on top of the right. So feel a nice long side stretch down the outside of that left arm, the lat to sideways, and then bring it back to center. Walk the hands over to the left edge of the mat and park the right hand on top of left. Couple nice deep breaths, paying particular attention to the exhale. All right, now bring it back to center. Curl the toes under, take an inhale. And on the exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Glance up at the hands, walk your feet forward to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Now this time, bend the knees. And I like to heel toe my feet about hip distance apart, so create a little bit of space between your feet. So you've got both knees bent here. Plant the left hand beneath the face, and on the inhale, reach the right fingertips toward the sky. And as you do, maybe straighten up that right leg any amount. So you start to feel it in the right IT band down the outside of that right leg. Take an inhale. And exhale back to center, rebend both legs. Plant the right hand beneath the face and inhale, reach the left fingertips up toward the sky. And as you do, straighten up the left leg. Stay for another inhale. And exhale back to center. Let's flow through this side to side, right to left with breath. Inhale, reach to the right. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the left. Exhale back to center. One more time each side. Inhale to the right. Exhale. Inhale to the left. And exhale. Heel toe the feet together. Hands find the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen the crown of the head forward, flat back. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. And we'll all meet in downward facing dog. All right, inhale, lift the right leg. And on the exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. We're going to start with crescent lunge. So inhale, arms overhead. The back heel stays lifted. The front knee is over the front ankle. And on the exhale, spin the back heel down. Bring it into warrior two. Now we're going to flow with breath here. So on the inhale, I want you to bring the arms overhead and straighten the front leg. So straighten the knee so both legs are straight. Exhale back into warrior two. Arms in line with shoulders. Inhale, arms overhead, straighten the front knee. Exhale back into warrior two. One more, inhale and exhale. Now straighten the front leg again. We're going to take it into triangle pose. So reach the right fingertips forward. And on the exhale, float the right hand down either to the shin or to the earth or to a block. And so the idea here is that both legs are straight. Now lengthen the crown of the head forward. If you've got your balance, your gaze is up at that left hand. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, rebend that front knee as you circle the left hand to the earth. Step it back to plank and take it through a flow. Follow your breath. Two long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. Left side, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through next to the left thumb. Crescent lunge on the inhale. Warrior two on the exhale. So glance down at your feet. Make sure your front heel is in line with the arch of the back foot. The back leg is straight, the front knee is bent. And you know where you're going here. So inhale, bring the arms overhead, straighten the front knee. Exhale into warrior two. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale into warrior two. Glance down at your knee. Make sure, go ahead and inhale, arms overhead. Make sure your knee, as it bends, is bending in the direction of the toes. It's not floating inward toward the big toe. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale into warrior two. Now take an inhale. And actually start by straightening the left front leg. Sorry about that. Inhale as you reach the left fingertips forward, and on the exhale, triangle pose. So float the left hand down to the earth or your shin or a block. And if you've got your balance, your gaze goes up. And so the idea here in triangle pose is that you're sliding your tailbone toward the back of the room as the crown of the head reaches forward. And so even though your hand is on something for support, you're not dumping a lot of weight into it. In fact, if you were so inclined, you could reach the arms overhead and float that left hand without supporting it on anything. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, rebend that front knee as you circle the hand to the earth. Take it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Two long, slow breaths in downward facing dog. And at the end of that next exhale, glance up at the hands, walk or step or float your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms overhead, reach. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. All right, release the arms down by your side. And we're going to start with a balancing pose. We're going to start with tree pose, and then we're going to progress to a different balancing pose later on. So start the tree pose, shift all the body weight to the left leg, bring the right knee up in line with the hip. And then as you have your balance, the idea here is that when you're standing on one leg, really grip into the earth with all four corners of that standing foot. So even use the toes to really grip into the earth. If you've got your balance, your standing leg is nice and straight and strong, your hips are level. Draw that right knee out to the side. And then press the sole of your foot against your calf muscle or against your ankle. And that can be kind of like a little kickstand. Or if you're feeling pretty good about your balance and it's pretty easy against the calf muscle, you might reach down and lift the foot up above the knee joint. But you don't want to press the foot against the knee joint. So be either above or below the knee joint. And keep using the outer hip to keep drawing the knee out to the side here. And then with your arms, you can take any shape with your arms that you are inspired by today. So if you want to reach the arms overhead, let your branches grow. You want to bring your hands to heart center, or if you're feeling a stretch across the front of the shoulders, you might try interlacing the fingers behind the back. Maybe explore it. All right, take one more inhale. And on the exhale, release both legs down to the earth. And give your standing leg a little shake. We're going to go right into it on the other side. Shift all of your body weight to your right leg. Bring the left knee up in line with the hip. And just for a moment, check in with your balance. Nice and stable and strong. Make sure you're pressing into the earth with all four corners of that standing foot. And now sweep that left knee out to the side. Press the sole of your foot against your calf muscle or your ankle. Or if you did so on the other side, maybe reach down and pick it up above the knee. And so when you're in tree pose, I want you to think about there being a force field down the front of your body. And so you don't want your knee to drift forward. Now you can take any variation that you'd like with your arms. You could do something different this time. Maybe challenge your balance by shifting your gaze up toward the sky, maybe something above the ground, maybe even close your eyes. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, everything down. Nice job. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth, step back to plank, take it through a flow. All right, inhale, lift the right leg. And on the exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Spin the back heel down. So glance at your feet. Your front heel is in line with the arch of the back foot. And inhale, bring it right up into warrior two. Now straighten the right front leg and pivot on the right heel. So your feet are parallel with each other and all 10 toes are facing the left side of your mat. Have your arms in line with your shoulders. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, hinge forward and down over the legs. And you can plant your hands. You can walk your hands back in line with your feet, or you can grab hold of your big toes and use the strength in your arms to pull the crown of your head closer to the mat. The idea here is we're getting a nice long stretch down the inner thighs, down the hamstrings. Remember to breathe. Something that feels really nice for me in this pose is when I walk my hands forward and away from my face, so I bring it into almost a downward facing dog in this wide leg fold. All right, go ahead and slowly press back out of it. Bring the hands to the hips, fire up the core, come all the way up to standing. And then re-pivot on that front leg, your right leg. So you're turned out from the hip again. Bring your arms in line with the shoulders, reach the right fingertips forward, and on the exhale, bring it into triangle pose again. Okay, so this time you could take triangle pose just like we did last time with your right hand down and your left fingertips toward the sky. Or if you want to start to bring in a little bit of extra challenge here, can you release the arms overhead and imagine that you're holding a beach ball up overhead? Add some weight to your low belly, to your abdominals here when you bring the arms overhead. One more inhale. And then slowly release back to triangle pose. Nice job. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, rebend that front knee, circle the left hand to the earth, step it back to plank and take it through a flow, or you can skip it. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. All right, same little sequence on the left side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through. Spin the back heel down. So we're going right into warrior two. Plant your feet, sweep the arms overhead. Now straighten the left front leg, reach the left fingertips forward, and on the exhale, triangle pose. Okay, so just like on the other side, you can stay with triangle pose like this, or if you want to add a little bit of challenge, just like you did on the other side, fire up the core as you bring the arms overhead like you're holding on to that beach ball. Little extra challenge. Nice and controlled. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, back to triangle pose. Stay for the inhale. And on the exhale, circle the hand, bend the front knee, step it back to plank, take it through a flow. All right, now lower the knees to the earth, bring the big toes to touch, settle it back to child's pose, just for a few breaths. Relax the forehead, relax the front of the chest, relax the jaw, relax the belly. Speaking of the belly, this is a great place to cultivate belly breathing. So in child's pose, when your knees are wide, it creates a lot of space for your belly to expand with every inhale. And so can you pull that breath into your belly using your diaphragm, and then lengthen the exhale. Maybe take it through 4 or 5 full rounds of breath here in child's pose. All right, press the palms into the earth, curl the toes under, take an inhale. And on the exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Inhale for crescent lunge. Exhale for warrior two. Now flip the right palm up, inhale, reach forward. And on the exhale, reverse warrior gaze goes up. Nice long side, stretch down the whole right side of the body. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, circle the hands to the earth, plant the left hand, and inhale, reach the right fingertips toward the sky. So a little bit of a stretch in that right glute as you twist your navel toward the right inner thigh here. Okay, now this is your first chance to take it into a side plank. And so glance down at your left hand. If your left hand is directly beneath your left shoulder, then you've set it up well. And if your left shoulder is really healthy, as in you're not dealing with any shoulder injuries or anything like that, then shift your body weight into that left hand and step the right foot back into a side plank. If you don't want to try this on your left shoulder, then a forearm plank is going to be better, or you could lower the back knee to the earth and take it back to a modified side plank like we practiced earlier. So options here, you could step it back to a regular side plank or find that modification. We're going to hang out here for a few breaths, so get really comfortable in this side plank. Can you press that left hand into the earth even more, finding more lift, more stability? If this is feeling pretty easy for you, you might try floating that right leg up above the left leg. And so I like to have my feet in line with each other, but you could also try stacking your right foot on top of left. Think about really lifting from the midline. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, circle it back to a high plank. Take it through a flow, or you could skip it. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through. Crescent lunge on the inhale. Warrior two on the exhale. With the left palm up, inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, back to warrior two. Exhale, circle the hands, plant the right hand. Inhale, reach the left fingertips up toward the sky. So rotating from the midline here. Glance down at your right hand. Okay, so you kind of know where this is going. try to do the same thing that you did on the other side. And so if you stepped back into a high plank, go ahead and go there. Or float that right knee to the earth to support some of your body weight. And by the way, if maybe you start out in a high plank and then after a few seconds you transition to a modified plank, that's awesome too. Maybe play with it. Maybe try floating one of your legs, floating the left leg. Really press into the earth, straighten up that right elbow, recommit, take an inhale. And on the exhale, circle it back to a high plank, back to center. Nice job. Take it through a flow. Two long, slow breaths. All right, so we're going to take some body weight off of our shoulders by walking it forward to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, take it to heart center. Okay, I'm going to step to the back of my mat so you can see me a little bit better. Yeah, that works a little better. Jesse, it's totally up to you. So grab hold of your strap. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another balancing pose. So where we've got all of our body weight on one of our legs. And this time, the strap is going to be really essential because most of us don't have the flexibility to grab hold of our toe as we sweep the leg out to the side. So the way we're going to get into this is just have the strap handy. Shift all of your body weight to your left leg and pick up the right knee. All right, so you've got your right leg in line with your hip. And now maintain your balance here and loop the strap around the sole of your foot, giving yourself some generous length here, because what I'm going to have you do first is I'm going to have you kick into the strap, and you're using the strap to support your foot. And if you don't need the strap, obviously you can skip the strap and you can just grab hold of your foot. If you do have the flexibility to just grab your foot, you're only going to grab the big toe. All right? Now, if you've got both legs straight, so your standing leg is straight and your floating leg is straight, then shift the strap into just the right hand and try rotating your leg out to the side, keeping control of the strap, keeping control of the foot. And so you'll notice that as you kick into the strap, it creates support for your leg. So you pull back on the strap with your hand, you kick into it with your foot. All right, go ahead and bring it back to center. And then with control, release the strap and set the other foot down. All right, so shake your standing leg out. There's a lot going on there. In order to progress through balancing poses, it is essential that you move very slowly, right? That it's not about momentum. It's not about kicking into something. It's about moving only at the pace of your breath. And so I'm just here making cues and making suggestions. You don't have to move at the same pace as me. I am, however, trying to move very slowly. All right, shift all of your body weight to your right foot. Pick up the left knee. Okay, so again, check in with your standing leg. You kind of know where this is going. And so it is essential that your standing leg is nice and stable. And then go ahead and start to loop that strap around the left foot. And then kick it straight. So the idea here, as you kick it straight, is that you're getting comfortable with the idea that you are supporting your foot with the strap. One little tip is that if your arm is straight, it makes it a little bit easier to hold on, right? So maybe move your hand on the strap until the elbow is straight. So you know, the idea is you don't want to have your elbow bent because then you're in your muscles. So if your arm is straight, your elbow is straight, then you're not holding up the weight of your leg with your muscles. All right, once you've got your balance, and if both legs are straight, go ahead and sweep the left leg out to the side. Standing leg is straight. And you can use your right arm as a counterbalance. So you might have your right arm in line with the shoulder. Remember to breathe. You guys holding your breath? Ooh. All right, now with control, bring that left leg back to center. Come out of it the way you came into it. And back to home, back to standing. Nice job. So shake your standing leg out. Okay, we're gonna set that strap off to the side. Take it back up to the top of your mat. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the earth. Take it back to plank and follow your breath through a flow. We're going to take it one more time to that side plank sequence. So while we gave our shoulders a little bit of a break, now is the time to come back to that side plank. So inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Crescent lunge on the inhale. Warrior two on the exhale. Flip the right palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior gaze goes up. Inhale, warrior two. Circle the hands to the earth. Plant the left hand. Inhale, reach the right fingertips toward the sky. Fire up the core. Glance down at your left hand. Make sure everything's in line. Step it back to high plank. Okay, so this is your second time in a side plank here. And so maybe you might discover a new and different level, a new and different challenge. Something you can do in side plank is you can turn it into almost like a little tree pose that's turned on its side. And so maybe try bending that knee and planting the sole of your foot against your calf muscle or against your inner thigh up above your knee. People who are really flexible, you might try grabbing hold of the big toe and kicking into that balancing pose like we were doing inside, like we were doing standing, but inside plank. Take one more inhale and take it back to a high plank. Nice job. Let's go ahead and sink it back to child's pose. Two long, slow breaths in child's pose. All right, take it back to downward facing dog. We're gonna do this same sequence on the left side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Put the left palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior gaze goes up. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, circle the hands, plant the right hand. Inhale, reach the left fingertips toward the sky. So fire up the core. You know where you're going, into a side plank. So step it back into that side plank. And you know we're going to be here for a few breaths. So see where you can slow it down. See where you can maybe find a little bit of challenge. The secret with side plank is to not lose that tension in the low back. And so you're really lifting with the hips, which is where the center of gravity of the body is. As you lift the hips toward the sky, you're lifting the bulk of the weight of your body toward the sky. And so you're not sagging into your shoulder. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, take it back to a high plank. Optional flow. All right, lower the knees to the earth. All right, we're gonna get out of our shoulders. We're gonna get back to the strap here. So we're gonna use this strap for just a few more hamstring stretches. Hamstring, inner thigh, IT band, use it for a twist, and then we'll take a Shavasana. So loop the strap around the sole of your right foot. I'm gonna have you lie down on your back, and you're gonna pull the sole of your foot towards your face. If you have both legs straight, you might notice that this is kind of like that balancing pose that we took a few moments ago, except this time you don't have to think too much about staying balanced while standing. And so a lot of these poses in yoga, you'll start to see the same pose that's lying down, or you'll see the similar pose like earlier we were doing tree pose, and then you have an option to do a tree pose type variation in a side plank. And so something that you'll notice as you start to see a lot of the same poses, that the orientation with the earth has just changed, is that you can start to build flexibility and build depth in a particular pose by practicing a similar pose. So here, you're working on your hamstring flexibility, will probably translate to more depth, more ability when this is a balancing pose. Okay, so shift the strap to your right hand and then lower the leg off to the right. Same concept here as well. So as you build flexibility in the inner thigh, this directly translates to the balancing pose that we were doing earlier. And now go ahead and inhale, draw that right leg back to center, and keeping the strap around the right foot, pass the strap to your left hand, and then slowly lower the left foot across the body, or the right foot across the body to the left. Keep supporting your foot with the strap. And if you can, try to keep both shoulders on the earth. And so we're turning this into a twist, and maybe even shift your gaze over the right fingertips. And slowly bring it on back to center. And switch legs by just slipping your left foot into the strap. And we'll start by pulling it straight down the middle, right into that left hamstring. Pay particular attention to the exhale. All right, now shift your strap into just the left hand, and keeping support on that left foot, slowly lower it off to the left. And so just like in our balancing pose, as you pull the leg into its socket using the strap, you're also kicking into the strap with your foot, creating a lot of tension and ultimately a lot of support for your leg. All right, slowly bring it back to center, and then pass the strap into your right hand. Take it across your body to your right as your gaze goes out to your left. And slowly bring it back to center. And you can set the strap off to the side. Hug the knees to the chest. Gently roll side to side. And then one stretch that I really love here at the end after getting some work on my low back is taking it into happy baby. So pull the knees wide and then grab hold of the outsides of the feet. This is a nice stretch for the low back here, especially after those twists. So gently roll side to side. And then slowly release the legs, release the arms, and take it into your final resting pose. So whatever that looks like for you today. Legs bent, legs straight, arms bent, arms straight. You can rest your hands on your belly. You could take a reclined butterfly. You could take a supported back bend. Take any shape that allows you to rest, allows you to breathe, and allows all the benefits of your practice to truly sink in. Shavasana. And slowly begin to reawaken the body. Wiggle the fingers, the toes, roll out the wrists, the ankles. Reach the arms overhead toward the back. Point the toes toward the front. Take a deep breath and a full body stretch from fingers to toes and everything in between. And then on the exhale, roll over to one side. And then when you're ready, slowly press the floor away and take it back to a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes when you get there. Lightly rest your hands on your knees. And take it through a couple full rounds of breath here. Notice the changes that you've brought about in the quality, the depth. And on the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.